Why, hello there, Dom. Did I catch you on the phone? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
man.
okay.
What's the deal?
To paraphrase the Beatles, tomorrow's my FID day. Happy FID day to me.
Oh
I
man,
would
happy
sing,
Fifth
but
Day all
I
around.
like you too much to
I
torture you with my
appreciate that.
voice.
Yeah, we don't want to chase people off. They
No,
definitely don't
no.
need to see that side of you. I know. Yeah, it's enough to have to listen to us and hear from us all that time. So yeah, good stuff. Well, how you doing, sir? It's limping past wild card weekend. A little rough on the gridiron for both of us.
Got the over my shoulder.
Oh, there it is. Still Steelers
We got
proud.
we got we got some work to do. Got the construction hat. We got to do
There you
some.
go.
We got to do some work over the off season.
Yep. Yeah, it's
And
going to be
then
interesting for everybody. Yeah.
above me, right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
that's my grandfather's steelworkers hat from when he worked in the mill. When he retired, it has the signatures are fading, but it has the guys from the mill all signed it.
All right. That's good
So
stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah, it
that's
was a
what we know what to do.
it was a chaotic weekend, and it was crazy because that snowstorm hit Buffalo.
Yeah.
I had a PreCon pre-conference Sunday, so I'm like, well, I was gonna miss the second half of the game because was going to the pre-conference. I watched the first half of the game, then I'll go to the pre-conference. They moved the game to Monday, and I'm like, okay, what time? And it was at 4:30, which PreCon was over at 3, but then Southwest PACT and some Northwestern PACT members, we hosted a post-conference meetup. So we actually watched the first half of the game at the meetup, and then I hightailed it home in time to see my team lose. But hey,
Well,
you can't spot 21 points. They made a comeback, but you can't spot a team 21 points.
Yeah, it was tough all around. Tough all around. I mean, the Dolphins game, the fourth coldest game. I was reading an article last night, said there were 70 calls to the local EMT. Of that, 30 were like frostbite, 10 hypothermia, 15 people went to the hospital. And then, I watched the New Heights podcast and listening to Jason and Travis talk about it. And Travis was saying how players were putting and shoving the hand warmers in their shoes, and a couple of the players burned, the front and the bottom, and you couldn't feel it. And just different techniques. They were talking about what they were doing to try to, stay warm the best you could, but just crazy. So, I mean, it is what it is. They played it out, and, the season rolls, and my students were, my Bills fans, my Ravens fans were all, they were having a good time. And I just laugh. I'm always like, act like you won a game before, boys. It's okay. A couple of my Chiefs fans, they had their jerseys on, like Mr. Verdo. I'm like, yeah. It was a great game. But, I said, hey, for the Dolphins, what a great season it was. You know what I mean? Like a lot of positives, and we'll do what we got to do. But yeah, so it's kind of like, we go through the time as educators. You got your highs, you got your lows. Tonight we're going to be talking about PreCon going on at PETE&C, talking about the preview of PETE&C, talking about, people that are some of the keynotes that are going to be talking, kind of talk about that. We always have an awesome time just hearing about what's going to be going on, and then rock and roll with some tech notes. So it's going to be a good one. But the cool other focus, our tech notes, kind of go with your phone call. What are we going to be talking about with tech notes there with Dom?
We're going to do a top 5 FID day ID. And I know FID day is redundant because it's flexible instruction day. So FID squared maybe, or it should be FID squared to try to be correct for my mathematical friends. But I call it FID day. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what we call it. Yep.
Because FID doesn't sound complete.
Right. Well, it used to be remote day, virtual day.
Yeah.
Now it's a hybrid day. Like everybody's given so many different names to it. So just pick something and stick with it. Right.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. We'll talk about, each of us will give our top 5 and do a little breakdown. We're not going to go too in depth in different techniques and stuff, but that's something we can do down the road. If people are interested, reach out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're at, leave comments, let us know. As we're going through, if you got your top FID day activity you like to do, feel free to throw it out there in the chat. We'll put it up on the screen and we'll share about it.
Yeah. Mine's more conceptual. instead, because it's, and we were talking last night in the book study, the best tools are platform agnostic,
Yep.
and you need that. So
Yeah.
I'm more with, their concepts. You can use whatever tool you have at your disposal, because a FID day is not the day to introduce something new to your students. It's probably not going to go well. And even if it is, I'm sure you'll have a couple kids, and I'm not disparaging students, but I'm fairly certain there'll be a couple that will claim it didn't work and I didn't know what to do, and they're out having a good time in the snow.
Yep. All that good stuff that hits. Well, it's odd. It's an odd week. It's Thursday in school. I like to call this Friday Eve.
Yes.
I tell the kids, listen, the day before Christmas was never fun. Nobody cared about it, but then somebody said, you know what, Christmas Eve, and then everybody loved it. So Thursday is kind of that forgotten time. So we like to, give it the name. And so we call it Friday Eve in our school now, and that's kind of like ripped through. So it's a Friday Eve, so it's not a Tuesday. It's not the first. It's not the third. We're in, it's just really thrown off. But I think it's time we kind of crank something out. What do you think?
I think it's time for the PAECT pod.
All right, let's roll it. Welcome to the PAECT pod, a show for educators by educators. PAECT is a 100% volunteer-run organization that focuses on educational technology use in the classroom in Pennsylvania and beyond. My name is Eric Verno. I am the Vice President of PAECT, and with me tonight, as always, my co-host.
I'm Dom Salvucci. I'm the Regional Director of the Southwest region of PAECT.
All right, we're going to be cranking with PETE&C, PreCon, and Preview, episode 44. All right, so
we got a lot going on. It's been a hectic week. I kind of previewed, or reviewed what I did. How was your week besides cold and snowy?
Well, we were off on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and then we had conferences, parent-teacher conferences on Tuesday, but due to the weather, it was a FID day. So we were, I was here in the pod studio, chatting with about, this was one where you call those parents in and have some good conversations and kind of brass tacks kind of conversations. So I had about, 30 students, 30 parents that met with, and then we roll into a 2-hour delay on Wednesday. And then I'm like, all right, okay, so get up, get ready to go to school today. I'm like, all right, it's going to be a, one full day. And I've been tracking this storm coming through because as we've talked here, being the geek, and my one principal called me out. So I'm getting emails and phone calls in my classroom now because I'll send her like screenshots of what the weather's going to do. So she always laughs and gives me a hard time. She's like, don't give me a reason to be mad at you. And I'm like, hey, weather people, 40% chance they're right, so as long as I'm beating that percentage. But so we get to school today and I'm in there getting work done, and all of a sudden, boom, power goes out. Teacher gets there and says, as I was driving down the road right near the school, a power line she heard a crackle pop, even with her, radio playing and heater on, and a power line just separated and just dropped.
Oh,
and
wow.
So our big thing is when power goes out, if the toilets don't work at the school, that's like a dead sign you're going home. Students' bathrooms were all functional. Teachers' bathrooms were not. So they got the kids off the bus, and we just rolled. And about an hour or two, it kicked in. It was starting to get cold though. That heat wasn't running. I was like, yeah. So a lot of memories of times where power went out in different scenarios where principals were handing teachers flashlights. So it wasn't that bad this time, but it was definitely a unique Thursday. And before the day was over, we got the email from the superintendent just as while Dom and I were pre-gaming, prepping, and talking, the FID day was pushed in. So tomorrow I will be in the pod studio again, and students are going to be doing some work, doing some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So that's why I thought, what a timely conversation. We're in Pennsylvania. The weather's going. One of our guests that we're going to be chatting with, weather to them is a lot different than weather to South Central Pennsylvania. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that too. But but yeah, so that's kind of how my week went. And like I said, looking forward to some games this weekend, and a lot of our locals being near Harrisburg and everything. There's more Ravens fans than there are Eagles fans. There's more Steelers fans than there are Eagles fans. It's such a unique mix around here. So, of course, the Steelers and the Ravens fans like to tangle and go at it.
I can understand the Steeler fans. The Raven fans, it's just that's a hard sell for me.
I know. Hey, you're 45 minutes away from Baltimore. You're 3 hours away from Pittsburgh. Yeah. So, when you look at that, but it's interesting. I'm just surprised that when I moved here, hey, many years ago, how few Eagles fans there were in the area. So,
yeah,
just find that, it's wild. So, a lot of good stuff going on. And the other thing too is, we're getting our presentation ready. I'm working on my Minecraft crafting your curriculum, and then I got asked to speak at the esports thing we have going on at PETE&C. So, working on putting together some stuff there, talking with the Minecraft team over at Microsoft. So, busy with all that jazz. We got a lot going on. Yeah, we can't fault all the Steelers fans, I tell you.
keeping it on your side of the screen too. Just rubbing it in.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna switch this over.
Technically, Steelers stayed in the playoffs longer than the Dolphins did. Just saying.
You are correct. We had to listen. You guys climbed in. We just kind of fell out. Okay, that's how I'm describing it. So it was definitely rough. But I enjoy our banter. I don't know how many people listening to the pod enjoy the banter, but we've got some important stuff to talk about, and I think it's time. I think we jump right into some PETE&C talk, and I think we kind of kick it off with our pod guest. What do you think?
I think it's time. We'll just jump into business, take care of business, as Elvis would say. Stumbling through my vocabulary tonight.
All right, I was waiting for a Swiftie reference. All right, here we go. Pod guest. Hey, Ann, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great to see you guys.
I know. Always great to have you on. You always know it's PETE&C time when we get Ann to kind of bless us with her presence on the pod.
Well, thanks. I'm happy to talk about our keynotes and share some information about PETE&C. Absolutely. I heard you guys talking about the weather.
Yeah. Let's start off with that. What's the weather like up there? How are you guys doing up there?
We actually have escaped so far. I probably just jinxed Northwest PA, but
hold on, knock on wood.
At least exactly. At least in south of Erie, we have less than an inch of snow. So I think along the lake shore, it's a little bit different up there, but we'll take it here in Meadville. So although the weather forecast for the weekend doesn't sound too favorable, so I think we'll be. I think we're gonna get it. We'll get it sooner or later.
I wasn't sure how the lake effects affect you, if it has already or not.
Yeah.
Meadville, Eric, if you're not familiar with that part of the state, summertime, going to and from Erie, I hit rain in Meadville. Wintertime, snow. Rest of the time, it could be beautiful out, but Meadville, when I'm traveling, I always get weather on I-79, that stretch of the road.
Meadville, Edinboro. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Seems, I know when I was driving back and forth to Erie a lot, it seemed like there was a curtain, if you will. I drove through that, and it was like night and day. You get away from Edinboro, and so it just all depends on the lake effect and the wind direction, and so
all right. Well, so let's for the people that are listening that don't know Ann, so we've got let's talk about her PAECT resume first. So we have past president, current parliamentarian.
Yes.
And you were a regional director for the Northwest at one point. Is that? Yeah,
that's correct.
And before you be past president, you had to be president and vice president.
True story. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well.
Yeah, and kicking around. And so, how long have you been a member of PAECT? How long have you been involved?
A long time.
Nobody's checking the numbers. It's okay. You can give the numbers. All right.
A long time. Let's just leave it at that. How about that, Eric?
All right. Okay. Linda, that's off the record. Okay. So anyway, if she happens to be listening, we won't get in trouble there. So then so that's your volunteer job, and you just wonderful. How long have you been involved with the PETE&C keynote with the program /keynote?
Oh, it's probably been about maybe 10 years. I'd have to go back and take a look
Okay.
for sure, but
All
I've
right.
been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you've always been that
Yeah.
constant there and doing a phenomenal job. And then, and again, everything we just shared, all the time you vested, all the awesome way you've shared yourself, that's the volunteer side. So when you put your battle cape on, I'm going to work. What is your title at your office there?
I currently work at Crawford Central School District, located in Meadville, and I am the director of ed tech, federal programs. I do some things with grants. So not only the federal programs, but other federal grants, local. I work with some community foundations, so grants and community outreach. So
Okay.
basically say whatever my superintendent tells me that I need to do, that's what I do.
You're working on. All right. That works. And you do it well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So Dom, you
Yes.
had the PETE&C page up there. You want to put that back up there and we'll jump right into keynote talk?
Yes.
Great.
I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to work from the back end. I'm going to drop out so you guys have more space.
Sure.
And I will.
All right. He literally dropped out.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
did. So you were mentioning about how long I've done this. For folks that may be new to PETE&C, there are 4 organizations that join forces to host and to sponsor the premier ed tech conference in the Commonwealth. And PAECT is one of those. PAECT is responsible for several of the roles that are involved in the planning and implementation of the conference. And one of those happens to be keynote speakers. So that's kind of my, like where I fit into all of that. We have other members of PAECT that are an integral part. Ben Smith is our program chair. He's doing a phenomenal job. Lots of great new things this year. Thanks to Ben and his team. Linda LaCoe works on evaluations. Brandy Broback does volunteers. So we have a number of folks from PAECT that are involved in one way or the other. We have 2 board members from PAECT that are part of the board of managers for the conference. And those 2 individuals are Ben Smith and Scott Snyder. So
yeah. It takes a village. It takes a lot of people to put it together and a lot of great stuff. And again, and every year the mix of keynotes just is always amazing. And again, then to the program and the things you're doing, and Dom and I have highlighted, we talked about the summits already and things that are going with esports, a lot of great stuff going on. So let's dive in here. We got the keynotes up on the screen. So on Monday, kicking things off, we got Richard Culata.
Yes, so excited about all 3 of our speakers this year. As you said, we're going to kick things off on Monday, the 7th, with Richard Culata. Richard, as some of you may know him as the CEO of ISTE, but as you probably know, ISTE and ASCD have joined forces. So he is the CEO of ISTE / ASCD. He has really been focused on creating the next generation of innovative leading learners. So I'm really excited to hear him talk about AI. Richard has a pretty impressive background. He served as the Chief Innovation Officer for the state of Rhode Island. And I found it interesting that he was appointed by President Barack Obama to lead the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Ed Tech. So he's also an author. He's a busy guy. So we're pretty excited that he's coming. He's going to do our keynote, and then he's doing a follow-up session. Many of our listeners may be aware of his book, Digital for Good, Raising Kids to Thrive in an Online World. I know there was a book study done, I think, in the Northwest region. I'm not sure about others, but so he's willing to kind of talk about that. He's done a lot with digital citizenship. So he's going to do the keynote on Monday. The session itself starts at 8, and then there's a concurrent session that immediately follows the keynotes that he's doing, kind of an informal Q&A. Come talk to Richard. If there's a topic or something that he mentions in the keynote and there's someone that wants to dig a little deeper or have a more in-depth conversation, he's open to that. So delighted that he's willing to do the informal conversation as well. So looking forward to that.
And those are always great where, you like literally the keynote comes off of the stage and, they're in that room and just having that one-on-one conversation, what's swirling through your head. Just it's a very safe place for you to just kind of like interact with them. And it's just, and he's so personable when we've gotten to see him at ISTE and different things. And those conversations I imagine are going to be amazing. And it's kind of cool that throughout all the different keynotes and speakers, you've kind of been able to be there, hear those conversations, see the things going on. And I'm sure you glean a lot from that. So it's definitely exciting. And I could only imagine where his mind is going with all the AI stuff and where we're going. If there's somebody to have a finger on the pulse, it's going to be him.
Oh, definitely. So I'm really excited about that. And I know even here at Comfort Central, our teachers that are going are, oh, he's going to talk about AI. So yeah, there's a buzz around that. So excited.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we roll over to, we got in Tuesday. Got Jill, is it Seiler?
Seiler, yes, will be joining us. She too has an impressive background. She has been a teacher. She's been a building leader. She's been a district leader. So she has recently served as the superintendent of Gunter ISD in Texas. She was there for about 10 years. And she now serves as the Deputy Executive Director for Professional Learning for Texas Association for School Administrators. So she's been through the ranks, if you will. I found it interesting that she grew up in the Rochester, Buffalo, New York area. So coming kind of back closer than Texas. She went to the University of Pittsburgh. That's where she did her undergraduate work. She shared that she was a collegiate swimmer there. She was a teacher, a coach in Pflugersville ISD. And those people that have been around as long as I have, I think that's where Carol Titleman went when she left Pennsylvania. Might be wrong, but so she's been a superintendent. Her district has been recognized as a 2017 National Blue Ribbon School. She has served as the chair of the Future Ready Superintendent Leadership Network, the design team, where innovative leaders across Texas gather to learn, share, and grow together. So she has a passion for helping others reach their goals. So she's going to talk about how to thrive in challenging times. So I think her perspective will be unique.
Yeah, and definitely timely and always good. So I always love how the keynotes kind of build on each other, how they kind of flow with the day. So that's awesome. Yeah, and then definitely, and to me, I knew Richard. No, the other two I'm not familiar with. So just getting to hear the new people. Gosh, I tell you, I'm always just blown away how you find these different people. So that's awesome. All right. So rolling into Wednesday.
Wednesdays, I think will be a little bit different, which I'm excited about because I don't want to give away a story. But his message is about transforming your environment, overcoming challenges, and creating positive change. And in kind of researching and learning more about Damon West, he talks about the world is a pot of boiling water and that you have three choices. He says you can be like a carrot and turn soft, be sad and weak. He says that you can be like an egg and turn hard, kind of be mean and mad. Or you can be like a coffee bean where you change the water for the better and look at what positive influence you can have. So he's going to talk about being a coffee bean, encouraging us to be coffee beans wherever we are planted, so to speak. And I think it's, we try to look for someone that's going to be inspirational for Wednesday to kind of have everybody leave with an inspirational message as they go back to their areas of assignment. And I'm thinking that Damon will be fit that bill very, very well for us.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. And for people that aren't familiar, so you come in and there's some pre-con stuff we'll talk about later on Sunday. Then Monday morning, you come into the big room. Everybody gets there, and that's the first keynote. Then Tuesday, you're also in that big room. You kick off Tuesday, and that's the big keynote. And then Wednesday, it's a luncheon, and then it's more intimate, I guess, or more of an intimate setting. You're sitting with friends at different tables. You're people that maybe you've just met. You're having, breaking bread with them, if you will. You're having a meal, and then you're having, there's usually always a very lovely dessert at Hershey.
Yes.
And as you're saying, I'm like, I always enjoy that nice cup of coffee afterwards. And then the inspirational speaker has been on it. And I will say, at a fault, the first few years at PETE&C, I get Monday, I get Tuesday off. Wednesday's just a short day. And I didn't stay Wednesday for the longest time. I didn't ask to stay Wednesday. And the first time I stayed on Wednesday, boy, did I kick myself for not staying previous Wednesdays. Cause I'm like, what you miss, like Wednesday is like you said, that given that inspiration, it's really that power, a positive kick in the pants to send you back to your building. Like, it's really an awesome time. So if you have that option with your superintendent, with your school, really put in for that, to stay for that half day Wednesday. If not to catch a couple sessions, to catch that last message and enjoy some dessert at Hershey, but don't tell the school that. You want to stay for the message. So yeah, that's so neat. Yeah.
It is a great send off. And I've been the same way, even because it's 3.5 hours to leave. I usually hit Chocolate World on the way out of town and head home. And it's like, I don't want to get home at 9, then have to go into work. And sometimes I would skate a little early, and it's worth staying for that ending keynote because it's a nice way to wrap up everything you've learned, everything you've taken. It's a great, as Ann said, a great inspirational message, and sends you on your way.
Right. So the Monday and Tuesday keynotes are at 8. The session begins at 8, and then they'll talk after, kind of housekeeping kinds of things. And then Wednesday, Damon, the session begins at 11:30. And usually there are a couple of announcements, and then Damon will get right to it, and then lunch will be served after that. So,
before the keynotes, stop by the PAECT booth. If you're a PAECT member, the regional directors will be having a little coffee and hot chocolate, hanging out there talking. If you're not a PAECT member, stop by, learn about PAECT, join up, either a free member, premium member. Come check us out.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention too that Jill has agreed to do the informal kind of Q&A after her session. So just like we talked about with Richard, if anybody wants to follow up with Jill, and I think Eric, you said it best. It's kind of, those 2 sessions will be in Crystal A, which are the room. Crystal A is downstairs, really, I think the largest breakout room that we have. And so she's agreed to do a Q&A there. And then Monday and Tuesday following that informal Q&A session, Barnes & Noble will be on site to sell books. So they've been great. It's the Barnes & Noble at Camp Hill. Stephanie, who I'll just give a shout out to her. She's been phenomenal. I've been working with her for a number of years. And so looking forward to that as well. So we'll be selling the books Monday and Tuesday.
And I was actually going to ask that because I wasn't positive if each of them had a book. I know we do usually try to partner with Barnes and Nobles, and you can get them signed right there. So I guess that is what you just said. So they will be there, and that's a possibility.
Yes. Yep. We'll have Digital for Good. That's Richard's book. Digital for Good, Raising Kids to Thrive in an Online World. And Jill's book is Thrive Through the Five. Um, not too sure. We're still confirming Richard's schedule, whether he'll be able to be there to sign books. Jill will be. So, but
Gotcha. Okay.
we're working through that.
Well, and if you already have it, you can kind of try to sneak it into the session. You never know,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure you can.
Don't tell anybody you heard it here. Just don't rat out.
you can play.
No, that's awesome. That is.
I've
cool.
been able to go down to those sessions with the keynotes, and they're phenomenal. They're, get to sit in. Sometimes you can't get in, sometimes you can, but you get you guys were saying a more in-depth discussion on things, and they answer questions and more interactive than when they're up on the stage.
Yeah. I like what Eric said. They're like off the stage, and it really is designed to be more of an informal conversation, really. So, yeah.
Hey, and Dom, it's important for us to finally tell you it's been many years, but everybody can get in. They just usually block you. So nobody else think you won't get in. That's just Dom.
I was Kevin Honeycutt's groupie. I got to carry the iPad robot down the 1 year.
Well,
yeah. What were you saying? Good.
Yeah, I was going to say too, if folks that are listening, that's really where we get names for speakers. So it's not too early to think about PETE 2025. So if you know of some, I like to talk to people who have seen the speakers, who have actually heard them. I get a lot of just, cold call, if you will, email, hey, I'm this great speaker. Wouldn't you love to book me for the conference? And I want to talk to people that have heard the speakers before we actually, go down that path. So if you know of some great speakers, feel free to drop me an email or catch me at the conference or whatever. I'd appreciate that.
Awesome. All right. Very good. Well, we truly appreciate, again, always having you on. Again, even on this unique day, since it's not the normal kind of pod night. So I truly appreciate that. And thank you so much. And I know you need to turn those lights off, shut that door, and get home. So I think we'll let you get on with your day. And truly, thank you so much, Ann, for everything you've done for PAECT over the years, everything you do for PETE&C, and just thank you for being you, because you are awesome. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you
Ann.
guys too. Thanks for the opportunity to share information about our keynotes. See you, PETE&C.
All right. See you soon.
All right.
Take care.
All righty. Take care. Bye. All right. Awesome stuff.
Right.
Always awesome stuff.
I'm going to hit a button here, and hopefully things don't go booey again, because it did.
Whoa. No. It showed you again. Get that off of there.
There's two of me.
Jeez. Oh, my gosh. Listen, Dom, they broke the mold for a reason. They broke the mold.
Sorry about the glitch. I think Eric hit a button and shut down my internet. He does have a button over there.
That's it.
You outrank me, so you have that power.
I tried to find something that looked like a button. All my no buttons and my noise buttons are in my classroom and my desk. I don't have any here, so nothing to make it look like it. But I will make a silence Dom button. We'll have for the next pod. I'll have to work on that one.
Just give me something awesome to hold, stuff. And I can't talk with my hands full.
That's it. Throw something at him so he's got to catch it. All right. Well, great stuff. Keynote talk. I think we need to continue on. So we were able to. So every year, one of PAECT's phenomenal programs, and obviously our listeners agree, because some of our most listened to podcasts are our KTI, Keystone Technology Innovators Summit recaps. And so we truly love this program. Been through the program, and I've been through the program. Dom's been through. We get the opportunity to go there and in the summer working at Shippensburg University. And so we do a PreCon at PETE&C. So there are several PreCon things that are available. So if you would go into, let's see, pulling up the program here, and on Sunday. So on Sunday for PreCon, we have they're offering an Ed Camp PETE&C, Educators gather to share innovative ideas. So if you know what an ed camp is, they've got it. It's a free registration. You can sign up. And for a lot of the pre-con events, you don't have to be going to PETE&C to go to the pre-con. The the pre-con event that PACT is running is a KTI pre-con. And what's awesome is our vice president, regional directors, our president, our board, we try to enlist different members to help with that, different people who've either been a member of KTI, a lead learner. We try to really get that different, just that new blood, if you will, to kind of get to come in and help with different things. So we're going to hear from Melissa Krenzer here shortly.
Yes.
And she is out of Northwest? Okay. Out of Northwest.
She lives close to the border between North and Southwest.
Dom loves breaking down the Pennsylvania stats and information. So yeah,
I teach.
But anyway,
I teach geography.
Yeah. So she's going to come on and talk about. She's one of the people that are helped run. They've created it. They're going to be running the pre-con event at PETE&C. So we will invite Melissa and Dom, pre-recorded interview here. So all right, let's take a listen and see what's going on at pre-con.
Hello, and welcome to this pre-recorded segment of the PAECT pod. In this segment, we have a special guest, Mrs. Melissa Krenzer. She is on the KTI pre-con committee. She was kind enough to be the spokesperson and tell us a little bit about the KTI pre-con. So hang on, and we'll be right back. The PAECT pod would like to welcome our special guest to the pod. Hello, Melissa. How are you today?
Hey, good. Trying to stay warm on this cold day.
Yeah, it's cold and snowy outside here too. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you with your day job and some other things you do besides being a pre-con organizer. What else do you do for PAECT?
So I teach 6th grade math in Grove City Middle School. This is my first year in the middle school. So it's been an adventure with middle school 6th graders. I also am a lead learner for KTI the last 2 years for the summit. And I am on the regional board for the Northwest region. I am the treasurer. And so excited to be here to talk to you about all of our planning. We've put hours into pre-con coming up and can't wait to share it with you.
Yeah, KTI pre-con is always good at PETE&C. I'm going to start off with where you can register. It took me a second because it's a Thursday, but it feels like a Monday. I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to drop out of the feed. I will let you.
All right, so if you go to the PAECT.org website and navigate to the calendar, you can see on February 5th, it is a blue square. Click on the blue square for pre-con. It starts at 1 p.m. It goes till about 3 o'clock. We will be at the Hershey Lodge, and the rooms are the Nigerian room and the Trinidad room, so near the main ballroom. And so click on there and register. Let us know to expect you so we can have a count, and that will be simple and easy to do. If you're not a PAECT member, you can become a member for free and sign up to join us. You do not even have to attend PETE&C this year. You can attend pre-con for free.
Okay, and I'm back. I'm sure it's probably better without me in there, but that's okay. I was working, trying to scroll through on the split screen. So you don't have to be attending PETE&C to be able to go to the pre-con, which is nice because some people, if you're in the area, I got my registration confirmation, so we're good. All you do is click on it. If you're a PAECT member, once you're logged in, it'll automatically push and automatically register you if you're logged in with your PAECT email or the email you use to register for PAECT. If you're not a member, it's going to ask you some questions so it can get the information. But we do have the free level of membership. So if you're thinking of going, please sign up. The pre-cons are fantastic. A lot of learning. And I know from in general, but I don't know any details as to what's going on with this one. So Melissa, what has the organization board come up with for this pre-con?
So the name of our event is AI Odyssey, Charting a Course for the Stars. We knew we wanted to do something with AI, but we also wanted to be more engaging than your normal session, if you will. So we have gamified our session, and I don't want to give too much information out, but there will be prizes and there will be challenges.
Will there be prize patrol?
There will be the prize patrol, of course.
Nice.
Those of you who have been at Summit know the prize patrol well. So I am excited that you can come and learn. And most importantly, KTI always all about connections and seeing people face to face that we haven't seen in a while, and just touching base before the conference begins. It's going to be an amazing time, and I'm super excited about it. We've put a lot of time into it. There's been a committee of several of us: Tracy Andrews, Sue Allen, Addie Woolos, Ryan Bedoya, and Keith McRae. So we're all going to have a small part to play in the event, and we just can't wait to see everyone there.
I'm looking forward to it. I registered. I saved my registration just for this episode so I can go in and register. PreCon last year was great. I try and hit PreCon every year. There's always good things going on. Plus, like you said, seeing old friends, meeting new friends, always a good time. So we can't give away too much. Melissa's keeping tight-lipped on the specifics, but 2 hours of learning, interacting. AI is a big thing. We have the AI book club going on right now. We just had our meeting last night. A lot of good discussion. So I'm looking forward to this. Thank you, Melissa. Anything else you'd like to say while you're on?
No, I appreciate you helping us get the word out, and I hope to see everyone there.
Cool. One thing before I let you go.
Yes.
I always ask people about, it's a twofold question. What is your teaching superpower? And if you had a superpower, what would you want it to be?
My teaching superpower. Well, I mentioned the word gamification because that's my jam. I gamify my classroom. This year, I've decided to go fully in and I'm doing almost a Dungeons and Dragons weekly game with my class where they do a dice game, just 10 minutes at the end of the week. And they look forward to it all week, and they get rewards. And I hide power-up cards throughout the building, and they can level up to different levels. And it's all, like I said, a Star Wars theme. So they're going up against stormtroopers or Darth Vader. And so I guess my superpower would be engagement, because the kids just love my math class and they love playing my space game. Real superpower, I would have to say to fly. That would be very, very amazing to be able to fly.
That has given me a huge dilemma in my head, is because I'm afraid of falling from heights. And we talked about that in the one episode. I'm not going to revisit it. I'll probably put it on a TikTok, because I totally confused my kids one day, my honors class, when I was, kind of stumbling through it in my head out loud in front of them. And they were like, okay, this is kind of scary. But flying is a cool superpower. But for those of us who are afraid of falling, I don't know how we would handle it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I will see you at PreCon.
Yes.
And looking forward to that. Take care.
You.
And thank you for being here today.
Sure. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Good stuff there. She does an amazing job. Oh, look at you jumping right in. I tell you. You're eager. You're excited. All right. So good. Yeah, good stuff. Excited for that PreCon gamification, keeping it close to the vest. Listen, I appreciate your interviewing skills, trying to get it out of her. She was tough. She was keeping it, she was trapped door, not letting the secrets out. So
yeah, I didn't want to push too hard, because we lose guests if we push too hard. So
listen, she would have used her superpower and flown away. So
we don't have Pat McAfee's budget. We can't be throwing money around to get people on per episode.
Hey,
so
hey, FanDuel's listening. We're okay. So give us a call. All right. Okay. We're looking for that big sponsorship check. Awesome stuff. All right, man. Good stuff. So yeah, now I think it's time for us to kick into some techno work. So our focus is talking about FID days.
Yes.
All right. So
I will let you go first, sir. I'll defer to you.
I will crank it off. So let me quickly kill that and let's get this rolling. Here we go.
I will step out while you present.
All right.
The floor is yours.
All right, so let's look at this here. So we got to go and all right, so we are going to talk about our top 5 Fid Day apps. So Dom and I both kind of took some time and looked at some different things that we like to use and utilize in the classroom to help us kind of make, Fid Days a little bit easier to manage. So we had a while where our team was working with the remote students and things of that nature. So utilizing some different tools, it became kind of, very crucial and important for us to do. So one thing, we talked about being platform agnostic. So starting off with, my love of Microsoft, but in school, we use Google Classroom, Google Slides. So my number 5 is the combination of Google Classroom and Google Slides. What I like about using this is you can pull any content you have, but what I like is when you're remote and the kids are working. Now, everybody has a different way they do Fid Days, but we jokingly tell our students we're stalking their online work throughout the day, checking off that they're getting things completed. And so what I like about Google Slides is when I have it open, I kind of have some things pulled so kids' names are hidden, but you'll see the little icon here that'll show up on the screen. My thing's not showing right properly right over here. That when they're active on that slide, their little avatar will show up. So you can easily see it. I just like that you can use the arrow and click through. And I just, put the blank thing out there, and you can go through and immediately see all of their work with just the click of your mouse. And so it's nice to be able to see a lot of kids work at quick intervals and just to check where they're at. You can shoot messages, put private comments. So my number 5, Google Classroom and Google Slides. All right. So let's roll into my number 4, Lookit. All right. I love the utilization of Lookit. You can look up a lot of things. So again, as Dom was saying, what is important is you're not using or teaching new content on a Fid Day. Kids are doing some review. You've stopped at a certain spot. I told my kids today, hey, tomorrow you're just going to do some practice with X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be. You can create your own items. You can pull them in. But what I like is, so say we're doing Wonders of the World. I'll just pick this random one. I like that you can assign as homework. So obviously I'm not going to be there with it, but I can set up the game and I could push it out to whatever my LMS is, and the kids will work on it at whatever time they get there. They'll still go up against other people. They do pull in previous people who've played that game or maybe utilized and answered questions in that data set. They kind of keep it in their back end. So they are competing against people. It's just not live with the kids in the class. I do tell the kids, hey, if you call each other and you're like, hey, Dom, dude, I'm going to hop on. I'm going to do this assignment that Mr. Verno had. All right, why don't you hop on at the same time? That you'll probably end up in that game together, competing against each other as well as other kind of ghost people. So my number 4, working backwards, would be Lookit. All right, so I do teach math in school. So right now, Lookit free, your Google Classroom, Google Slides, your school pays for that, free for the educator. All right, number 3 is one that we pay for as a building, but is really cheap, but they do have a free version to go with it. So it's actually MobiMax. So MobiMax, let me log in here. Sometimes when I'm sharing screens, it acts a little different. All right. So what I like is in here, you create your assignments. You can go into your curriculum. All right, I teach math. You work with fact fluency. You can pull up the assignment you want. You can assign it. But to me, what the reason why I picked this as a top app to utilize, that you can have this open and let me sign in again. And they have a live real-time tracker. So when again, my screen. So there's right here is the live real-time tracker right there. So when I click on it, as the students are logged in, it'll show their name, what they're working on, and how much time that's being spent. So in the classroom, this is one thing that I'll have the kids do during rotations, and I'll actually have I'll have it as one of my tabs on I use a Surface device with my group. And when the kids are working in the book, I will quickly just scan it, look at that live real time, and I can tell if the kids are actively working on what I have assigned. I do that the same remote. Now, again, there's a long time where they're able to do their work, but I'm able to pop in and spot check at different moments. Our kids getting on, our kids doing work. So that's why I put MobiMax at my number 3. All right, my number 2. Edpuzzle. Love me some Ed Puzzle. So I use this a lot for my science classes. I do use it a lot in my math. And I just love the ability that I can actually look at Ed Puzzle originals. There's different things here. So if I want to look up, say, science, all right, so I want to focus on 6th grade middle school science, all right, and they have some different video clips that they've created. I've been able to pull in some content, some math antics. If you're a math teacher, is always good. Phineas Ferb, the kids love that when we were talking about calculating speed. All right, who doesn't love Mark Rober and his squirrel mechanism? So I was able to pull that video in to show. And then you're able to go in and you're able to set different questions throughout the video. So the kids are, I always tell the kids, I joke with them, I'm like, listen, I'm giving you a really cool video for you to watch. I'm going to ask you a few questions just to make sure that it's actually you and you're understanding what it is. One of the powers of Ed Puzzle, I can go back and have it replay the little snippet if I happen to miss it, because I talk to the kids about, sometimes I'll be watching and my mind wanders, just zoning out. That might happen. So you can go back and you can listen to it. And I tell them how, back in the day, when I was a kid or when I was first teaching, where we would just show that Bill Nye video. And when the video was over, here's a paper with 10 questions for you to work on to see, how well you retain the information. This is just a great way to do it. Another, I use Ed Puzzle a lot. Play Pause It would be another one that is a great resource for you. And if you're looking for a really cool physical science content, NBC has this NBC News Learn, and they have Science of the Olympics, and there's Winter Olympics and there's Summer Olympics in there. And the kids love watching the stuff about the bobsled, the fact that ice skating, ice hockey, and speed skating have the word skate in it, but they're different styles of skating shoes or boots, and what they call them. So it's cool when we watch those videos and they learn a lot, because for the record, the first time I watched the videos, I learned a lot watching those videos. All right. And my number one FID Day app is Formative. It used to be Go Formative. Now they're just going by Formative. I love using Formative. First, their library is very extensive of things you could look up. And that, for the record, the book series that we use in school, I was actually able to find a teacher that went in and created questions that go right from the book. So when the kids are working in class, every so often I'll assign it. They're doing work in the book. And the reason why I like Formative with that, they can type their answers on Formative and it gives them an automatic, do they have it right? Do they have it wrong? And I always said it that they can go back in and they can make changes. So it's kind of like auto correcting them. And I said it that they can make as many changes as they want until they get it right. And then they will hand me they'll tear out the page in their book. They'll submit that. And I'll also see on Formative how they're doing. Now, just for instance, let's pull into an assignment that I used a little bit ago. As the kids are answering, this will fill up across the row here, and it'll show me what questions were answered. So this was when we started and we didn't finish, but I could immediately get a look. Let me zoom in a little better here for everybody. Let's see here. There we go, a little better. So as I'm looking, I could say, okay, in my orange math class, all right, nobody got question 1 done. Somebody attempted question number 2, got 0%. In my other class, 71% correct on question 1, 100% on question 2. As the kids are working, I'm not going to, let me do this. I'll pull this off the screen, protect the names of the innocent, and I will open up this one here. And as you scroll through, as the kids are working, so in real time, you can see these marks. Green, they got it right. All right, they got it right. They got this one wrong. It'll show up with a gray outline when they're on question 4. So working remotely, kids working on FID Day. If this is assigned, I can have this up on one of my monitors, and it's just viewing. When a kid logs in, their name will get a solid circle next to it, so you know they're online. And as they're working through, you're getting a green, you're getting a red, you're seeing that instant feedback. They're getting the instant feedback to change it. You can always shoot a message to them if they have problems or questions. So it's a great way to do that. Again, when we're doing rotations in class, I'll set this up as one of the independent activities, because I can have it on a separate tab that I can scan as the kids are working and just see, if there's several reds in a row, I can have my kids work, and then I can walk over, just tap, go just put a hand on the shoulder and just say, hey, Dom, looks like you're struggling a little bit. You got any questions? And it's either going to be, yeah, I do, and I can help him real quick, or he's going to be like, oh, wait, all right, Mr. Verno knows that I'm kind of not really doing this, and he can go back and make those corrections. All those different things come into play. But again, on a FID day, that ability to kind of still have eyes on what they're doing and to be able to check it out and for them to get immediate feedback is really important. So my top 5. So looking through the list. All right. So at 5, Google Classroom. At 4, Blookit. At 3, MobiMax. And by the way, for a building license, $600 for the year. So as far as math programs go, a very cheap avenue for you to go if you've not done that yet. Edpuzzle is my number 2. And number 1, Formative. Rounding out my top 5 FID day apps. All right, Dom. What do you think?
Very impressive. Very impressive. I missed Edpuzzle in my thinking, but today was a kind of chaotic day. But I like that. And you can pull in the review activities. I like Edpuzzle because you could see how much of the video the kids are watching, how the questions go. And, there's a lot you can do with it. I use that a lot in my classroom.
Now today, just to, it pulls in a little football, pulls in a little FID day talk. So to have my kids just practice through, we've used it before, but I just got these groups every 6 weeks. We rotate what groups we have. So they've been 6 weeks without having me in class. So now they're in science. So we were reviewing Newton's laws of motion, and the NFL channel just put on YouTube because the paraprofessional on our team was actually filming this with her camera on Monday. Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Good Morning Football, and he was breaking down the physics, Newton's laws of motion, behind the tush push or the brotherly shove. So I was going to show the video anyway. And then when it came out on YouTube, because I didn't she just, took the video off the screen. So I was like, okay, there's that little bit of, I don't want to put it on this public site, Yeah. But now it's on YouTube. So I was able to pull it in and just pop in a couple questions. And again, I just made it very light. There was just 3 questions in there just for the kids to get that feel again of how to do it. And we got to watch a little, video about the Eagles' infamous tush push and the brotherly shove. So pretty funny, but yeah. So definitely, like I said, the top 5. And again, for me, you may have apps that you think are better. Email us, write us, and we'll definitely share those. But the common thread is the ability for me to be able to kind of see real time how they're doing. So if things are, going bad, I can kind of, try to step in, intervene when needed, or, provide guidance and help. So, all right. So I'll stop talking. That's my top 5. Where are you at?
Well, I'm going to add one thing about Edpuzzle. What I like about Edpuzzle is I'll put directions and I'll put notes in where I'll tell the kids, hey, pay attention. This is coming up. Focus on this. This is what I focused on. Or you could actually put in voice or video clips to explain to the kids and break the video down. So even though you're not in the room with them, you can put explanations in for the kids working through the lesson to give them a little extra support.
Yeah.
So that's always a nice thing.
So many good things. All right. Well, here we go. Let's kick this transition, and we're going to give it a throwback to Kalahari PETE&C with this PACT pod techno transition. And Dom will be here when we come back.
Okay. So I have my top 5 FID day activities. Engaging, fun, and easy for all. So we're going to start reverse order with number 5. Little sound effects there because I have control of the screen. So if I go here, let's see if I get this scrolling forward. I'm having trouble, but I had sound effects. So it's not going to work this way. Oh, for goodness sakes. There we go. Fun ideas for FID. Number 5, a review day. Eric gave you some specific tools. I like the fact that, I mentioned earlier, platform agnostic, something the kids have used all the time. There's so many tools out there. Eric mentioned Formative, Blookit, quizzes. I use Review Game Zone, Quizlet, Study Stack flashcards. There's all different types of games. There's more than I've mentioned out there. Take something you use regularly in your class and give the kids a day. Okay, go back, use your notes, review what's going on in class. How well, like I just did an exercise with my students. Use some AI, came up with some questions based on the notes I inputted into the AI tool. I went through, I edited things, and they weren't just rote memorization or basic knowledge off of the notes. That had them thinking. And we did a couple days of working on that in my classes. And I asked the kids, okay, you have the notes. Some of you take good notes. How well are those notes going to help you answer questions? Like, can you use that information, or you just copy what was on the board and have no understanding of it? So a day like this, have them go in, give them some review questions, use whatever platform you like, but have the kids do the review work. They can take a screenshot of their results. A lot of these tools allow you to watch in real time, as Eric mentioned, as to how they're doing. When they're done, have them take a screenshot. Our students don't necessarily have to be online with us, synchronous throughout the day. I teach high school, so I have a lot of kids who have other activities going on. They're helping siblings. They might be watching siblings. Some kids will go to work. Some kids will go outside, and I'll talk about that later, and make money for the family or for themselves. So they might not necessarily be on when you're on. So they take a screenshot, upload that into the LMS, and they have, here's what they did. Here's their score. And it saves you from having to go in and scroll through all the reports to find out all the students and everything that they've been doing. So we're going to move on to number 4. Hopefully the sound is coming through my microphone. Number 4, offline activities. Not every kid is going to have a very reliable or high-speed internet. My district goes from small town America to residential communities to farmland. So some students don't have a lot of bandwidth to work with. You have to keep ideas that are useful for them. Common Lit, you can either print out the packets. Common Lit is a free level. There's also a pro level. Or have some Google Doc information set up, or even just link that into the LMS, because Common Lit doesn't take a lot of bandwidth, and you can use that on your phone. If kids can make TikToks, if kids could watch TikToks or scroll through Instagram, they can access Common Lit. For us, reading on the phones might be a little more difficult, but for kids, they do a lot of that anyway. Common Lit has short passages. As you work through it, you have the guided reading questions you can activate. Then you have the comprehension questions afterwards. You don't have to have them write, or you can make that an offline activity where they would write, and when they come back into school, they turn it in for you. If for some reason students don't have internet access at home for whatever reason, or their internet is down, you can print up a packet ahead of time. Like we knew ahead of time today, not that we were going to have a FID day, but it was a possibility. And I know some of the schools, the younger kids get packets that are sent home, but you could send a packet home with a student, say, hey, your internet's been acting up. Mine crashed earlier because of the weather outside. And I got dropped off the podcast here. Here's a packet, take it home. If we have a FID day, work on it. If not, bring it back. We're good. So offline activities are good to have for those students that don't necessarily have strong internet access. And in some cases, people are losing power. There were a number of districts in our region. We had a windstorm come through last week or the week before, and one school went virtual because there are some students without power. Now, those kids obviously can't do work that day, but if they had a packet or they had some offline activity, they could sit, hang out, and read, because the weather necessarily wasn't bad. It was just very windy. It came through that day. So moving on to number 3. Student content creation. I have to give Mr. Verno some credit on this one. it was a rough day. I was having a mind blank moment. And he's like, you have students create stuff all the time anyway. What about that? So one thing you do, and this opens up the creativity on the students, and some of the stuff we're doing in our AI book study, that's one of the skills: creativity, collaboration, and emotional intelligence. These are skills that people are going to need moving forward. So student content creation, have them create some sort of short project, a media of their format. It could be, drawing, painting, music, poetry, whatever they want to do. Create a story, a format of their choosing. Have them show what they've been learning in the current class content. They can either post it online. If they have internet, they can create it, bring it into school, depending on what they're doing, but have it related to the class content. And that's giving them freedom of choice. You can set the standards ahead of time with the students as to what the expectations are, and let them run with it. And you could bring it, like I said, you could bring it back in, digital format. They can take a picture of something they created physically, or they could bring that into school if they're doing like a regular poster type thing with paper, stickers, and whatnot. So 3 is content creation. We're going to move on to number 2, one of my favorite tools. Number 2, Goose Chase. Have some of these queued up. If you have a free account, that's okay. If you have a paid teacher account, have those set up. Virtual Goose Chase, treasure hunt, however you want to phrase it, but Goose Chase is the proper term. That's better than any old-fashioned web search. My students love, in fact, kids that I had that have graduated that I've run Goose Chases with, they've come back and open house with their siblings, like, hey, are you doing a Goose Chase this year? Have you done this over the holiday? And they remember that stuff. And they're a nice digital, fun thing. If you have, depending on the weather, like the other day when we were negative 14 degrees, not a good day to have kids outside doing a Goose Chase, but in the house, you can do a digital one as opposed to going outside. Excuse me. So Goose Chase, great tool for a FID day. Now, my last one, number 1, can be somewhat controversial for some people, but that's okay. It's the fun day in the snow or indoors. Last year, we didn't have any FID days. We didn't have a lot of snow in Western Pennsylvania. Some people aren't real keen on this, but I am a firm believer that kids need to be kids. So I don't see any issues with this as long as it's not the only thing you do on every FID day. In the past, and I'm not sure how I'm going to run with my FID day tomorrow, but I've done, go outside. Here's your assignment. Take a picture of you having fun in the snow, helping a neighbor, going out, earning money if you're working, shoveling sidewalks or whatever. Take a picture. It must be school appropriate. Upload it to, we use Schoology, upload it to the assignment, and you're going to get points. Or if you don't like being outside in the snow, show me your favorite school appropriate activity when you're stuck indoors. And it could be, kids sitting there reading, drinking hot chocolate, playing games if they're streaming games. Some kids, pointing and hollering because they don't like the snow. They're summer people. Take a picture, upload it. Has to be school appropriate, and go from there. Because kids do need to be kids, and sometimes we forget about that. One of the ideas I'm toying with, and it depends on the weather. Like I said, if it's going to be miserable and not good for them to be outside, I'm not going to have this assignment. I'll give them something else, one of the other 4 ideas. But I thought about doing this as a basic unit and then say, okay, since I do have students that aren't necessarily going to be online synchronously tomorrow, I always tell them, like, I'll be around. I'll be, at my computer. If you need me, send me an email. I'll open up a Zoom room. I'll be there to support you if you need help. If not, you're fine. They have until we come back into school on Monday to get the assignment that I'm giving them done. If they get it done tomorrow, I'll give them 5 extra enrichment points to be a 5 out of 5 in the grade book. If I do this type of project, what I will do on top of that is, instead of just giving me a static photo, if you do a flip, if you do, it's basically a TikTok, but they could do a flip, they could do some sort of video, they can do like jazz up instead of a still photo, give me something more. I'll add another layer on to kind of get them using the creativity skills they have, applying them to an educational setting. Because that's the thing, a lot of the kids do these creative items, they just don't do them for school, and they're not comfortable doing them for school. We have to bridge that gap between, okay, you can post pictures on and art on Instagram, you could do stuff on TikTok. Now let's do it in an appropriate educational setting and getting them moving that way. So these are more, instead of specific tools, general ideas, but it meets the theme of top 5 FID Day activities. And that, everybody, is those are my top 5 FID Day activities. So Mr. Verno is back.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, man. I
I appreciated the assist.
Hey, you know what? For the record, the presentations, you and Canva, the noises it makes and everything, like, that's up your alley. You need to work on getting all those keys down, the secret keys to get stuff, drop the mic, this and that. The Canva presentation is sharp. I'm trying to work on pulling a lot more of my stuff over there. So yeah,
I was using my phone with sound.
Okay. That's why I was a little quiet. All right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, today was a rough last couple of days, being out Monday, kids coming back, doing a lot of fielding things. Grades were just due. Kids are shifting schedules. So it's been a little bit crazy and dealing with that. And the winter blues are hitting school hard. So you're talking with kids about different things. So I didn't really have time. I came home with the weather being such as it is. I've heard the snow plows go up and down the hill a couple times. I didn't have time to go full bore on my Canva presentation.
Gotcha. All right. Well, okay. So that's why I was a little quiet. I thought, oh, he just didn't choose to share the computer audio, and it's picking up on the microphone. That makes more sense. So, all right, good stuff. Well, hey, so now, so hopefully all those people who are listening, if you're listening down the road, you're able to take one of those 2 tidbits that either I or Dom shared. Again, if you have something, you could send us a video of you sharing, demoing something that you really think is beneficial for a FID Day activity. Just email us the information, we'll share it, on the socials, kick us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case may be, Blue Sky, wherever you're at, Mastodon, wherever you are. And then let us know. We'll make sure, we could do an addendum or add some things down the road, or stop us at PETE&C. And Tuesday's our presentation, I believe, at PETE&C. So stop us and chat with us there. So awesome stuff. All right, man. Well, we need to talk a little bit about what is going on with PAECT.
Yeah. We just finished up some items in the Southwest. We have I got to send an email out after this. We have a possible event going on Saturday at Flex Space in Pittsburgh. It depends on the weather. Talking with Aaron at Flex Space, I got emails from people. They're looking forward to Saturday, but it's going to depend on the weather. If this snowstorm wraps up in Western PA like it's supposed to by Friday night and just have flurries in the Saturday, we're a go. If for some reason this snowstorm bogs down, we're going to have to revisit. So we're going to make the final decision tomorrow, and I will send out information to all the people who are registered. We may have to postpone it, but we're going to try and have everything go for Saturday, because I am getting emails from people like they're fired up for this. So we have that going on. We have the book study going on for the next couple of weeks, and we have some online synchronous online training through Teachers First going on Tuesdays.
Yep. Yeah, we had like you said, the book study kind of rolling. We got the Flux Space. There's the different we got. So next week we have Google My Maps Basics with Teachers First, and then the 30th, Engage and Inspire with Fake Websites. And I believe the 31st of January is the last day of the book study.
Yes.
And then rolling into February, and we're kicking off February. That should be Sunday there, the 4th, with the PETE&C KTI PreCon. So,
and that will not be, the sign up for that is not on PETE&C's website. It's on PAECT's website. You'll click on the calendar, go into the event, and register right there, like we showed you in the video. So that's registration through PAECT. It is free.
Yep. Excellent. And like I said, here is the thing. And I don't know if the library Goose Chase did happen with South Central, but as you mentioned, Goose Chase.
It is going to be happening.
Okay.
It is going to be happening.
Awesome. So they'll be kicking that off. And then just to give a quick preview, again, PETE&C is happening February 4th through 7th. The PreCon is on the 4th. And then we will, South Central will be passionate about PETE Zoom. And that's the post-PETE Zoom that'll be happening statewide and out of state for people to come on and share about things they learned, things that they took, the information they took from PETE&C. And if you're not able to attend PETE&C, it's a great opportunity for you to go in and glean off of some of the other members who were able to be there and sharing about what they were passionate about, what they learned about, and the exciting things that did occur during PETE&C.
Yeah, that is open to everybody. And same with the library. Sue Allen, South Central Regional Director, last night in the book study mentioned that is going to be going on. So I'm looking forward to the library Goose Chase. I'm going to try and jump in on that.
Yeah, awesome. Very
That's
cool
the best way to
stuff.
learn these tools to use in your classroom too, is use them yourself.
Yes, the teacher needs to become the student and help learn it. Definitely. You learn by application, right? You got to learn by doing. So it's always very beneficial. So, man, a lot of great stuff tonight. Tech notes, way to knock those out of the park. Awesome having Ann on. Appreciate Melissa taking time out of her day to pre-record that interview. So I appreciate you, Dom, taking time out of your day to work with her on that. And great stuff happening in PAECT, and it's only great because of our members. So I think it's time for us to kind of close, make sure we get opportunity to thank our sponsors. But
before we thank our sponsors, I want to throw a little tidbit out to my students.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Since we are FID tomorrow, I am going to throw this in the Schoology. We have a special bonus word of the podcast. And this is actually a bonus phrase that goes with the weather.
This gets special pink waving on us. This is very, very, very okay.
Much to the chagrin of my wife and daughter, I geek out when we get this kind of weather. And instead of saying park in the middle of the driveway so I could run the snowblower up both sides of the driveway, I say park in snow formation X. So that is the key phrase, snow formation X. It sounds so much cooler than park in the middle of the driveway.
All right. I like it. Good stuff.
So
okay.
That's the key word. First person from each class period that can turn in the keyword to me will get points.
All right. Very cool. One of these days it'll be Go Fins. We'll see. We'll work on that one. All right, man. So we truly appreciate everybody for watching, for listening now live or down the road, checking our links out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and truly appreciate everything you do for education and for your students across the Commonwealth and beyond. So remember, Dom,
PAECT.
We are
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania
and
beyond.
All right, let's thank our sponsors.
PAECT would like to thank all of our sponsors. Venture sponsor, EduSpire, corporate council members, ClassLink, GoGuardian, ClearTouch, and our gold sponsors, Sam Labs, Howard Technology Solutions, and Teachers First. We at PAECT truly appreciate all of your support. Once again, thank you.